One cold night, Samer was sitting in his living room after a long day at work. It was midnight, and the house was unusually quiet. Samer decided to turn off the lights and sit in the dark, with only the faint moonlight filtering through the window. As he sat relaxed on the couch, he suddenly felt a cold touch on his shoulder. He jumped up and looked around, but there was no one there. At first, he thought he had imagined it, but then he felt the touch again, this time on his hand. It was as cold as ice, as if it were someone's hand. Fear gripped him as he searched the room for any sign of someone's presence. He turned on all the lights and checked the doors and windows, but they were all securely locked. He returned to the couch, trying to calm himself, convincing himself it was just a figment of his tired imagination. But as he sat down again, he felt the cold hand on his neck. He froze in place, feeling chills run down his spine. He couldn't move a muscle out of fear. He began to whisper some prayers and verses from the Quran, hoping to ward off whatever was there. Suddenly, he heard a whisper in his ear saying, "Help me." Terrified, Samer decided to confront his fear and asked in a trembling voice, "Who are you? What do you want?" He received no answer, but the cold hand disappeared as mysteriously as it had appeared. Feeling somewhat calmer, Samer decided to investigate the history of the house to see if any strange or tragic events had occurred there. The next day, Samer visited the local library and began searching through old records. He discovered that the house had once been inhabited by an old man who lived alone and died under mysterious circumstances. It was said that his spirit had not found peace and wandered the house seeking help. Samer returned home determined to help the spirit. He brought in a sheikh to recite the Quran throughout the house, praying for mercy and forgiveness for the old man's soul. After that, Samer felt the atmosphere in the house become warmer and more peaceful, and he no longer felt the cold hand's touch. Samer was reassured that the spirit had finally found rest, and he lived in his home peacefully without encountering any more strange occurrences.